guys, welcome to my channel. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce us and to share a funny story about when I went to see Terrifier 3. This is Little Red and I'm Beth, and this is Little Red Haunts. I didn't grow up watching horror movies. I grew up in a pretty conservative household, so most of what we watched was Disney movies or what my mom and my sister liked, which was every version of Pride and Prejudice, Little Women. Yes, there are more than 2 versions of Little Women. Sense and Sensibility, and Jane Eyre. Although you could probably consider Jane Eyre a horror movie, there are some pretty intense, scary moments in those movies. I say those movies because there's probably at least 10 versions. And I always looked forward to seeing what the lady in the attic would look like. So I guess my love of horror was always buried down there in a way. I got into horror when I went to college in the mid-2000s.
I'm told!
And the movies that I kind of first started with were newer movies at the time, like The Ring, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and The Descent. I found that these stories I really loved. They were exciting, they were scary, they were haunting, and I really was drawn to the genre, to the point where any extra money I started buying these DVDs, and the easiest ones to get, the most readily accessible, were the newer releases. For that reason, I didn't really watch a lot of the older classics that a lot of people got into a horror movie with. I did watch a few like The Exorcist, Poltergeist, and The Shining.
Come play with us, Stewie, forever and ever and ever.
But a lot of them I felt like, because I was used to the newer special effects, I just found the older movies to be a little outdated and a little just harder to get into because they weren't the smooth, polished special effects that I was used to. A lot of the classics, the version that I saw first was the remake, because that's what was in the theater, that's what was out. So I found myself really enjoying the stories in the remake, and then going back to watching the original and being like, yeah, that was good, but I liked the remake. I also didn't have the nostalgia that a lot of people have of watching these scary movies when they were a kid and being really frightened and then being so intrigued and wanting to go back and have that feeling again. I just don't have that nostalgia, so a lot of these older classics just don't have that same appeal to me. So for that reason, I like a lot of movies that other people don't. I dislike a lot of movies that people consider to be classics and one of the best of all time. I didn't really get into reading reviews and critics and all that until here recently. And now that I have, I really like hearing other people's opinion of the movie, because if I don't like it, I can understand why people do and vice versa. So I feel like now my opinions on movies are kind of getting more close to the mainstream, but I still have some differences. I kind of go into horror not expecting a lot, just kind of expecting to be entertained. So some of the more artsy, real messagey movies aren't as appealing to me as maybe a Blumhouse jump scare fest. So I hope I kind of have a unique voice to bring to this community. Obviously, not everybody's gonna agree with me, but maybe hear my thoughts and get a different perspective on some of these movies. I want to review new release movies, as well as some of the movies that I started out with that I really like, that I have found out are really disliked by most everybody else, and kind of give my thoughts on that. I also am a big movie buff in general, so I'm sure I will branch out into other genres besides horror. So if any of this sounds fun to you, I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and watch for my other videos.
Yes, so anyways, back to my amusing anecdote.
So I saw the trailer for Terrifier 3 in theater when I was watching a different movie, and I wasn't sure. I was kind of on the fence about whether I would go see it or not. The first 2 Terrifier movies weren't quite my thing. They were kind of long, some parts were slow, the gore was just a little bit overindulgent for my taste. But when I saw that it was a Christmas movie, it was coming out in theater, you know, it's got a little bit bigger budget, I thought, you know, give it a chance. So I went, and I really enjoyed it. I was sitting there, I was thinking, this is fun, you know, that keeps the pace going, there's a lot of good kills, it's campy, it's funny. I liked Art the clown really kind of ramped up his silent humor which was really cool. But I was getting towards the end and I was thinking, you know, there really hasn't been that scene. The first two movies had that main scene that everybody talks about, everybody remembers, for ramping the gore up to an 11. You had the upside down scene in the first one, you had the bedroom scene in the second, and I was just, yeah, there's been a lot of horror spread out through the movie, but it just hasn't had that key scene. This movie is over 2 hours long, and like I said, I was getting towards the end, and I really had to use the bathroom. So I was at a part where kind of a side couple, a guy and a girl, are in their dorm or fraternity. They're talking and Art's listening outside the room. They're kind of dialoguing about Art and the kills and all that. And I thought, okay, this is a dialogue heavy scene. We're gonna get into the ending where the climax is gonna come.
Phrasing.
I better go use the bathroom now so I don't miss anything. I went, didn't take long, I came back, and on the screen, Art's on the floor of my bathroom doing like a snow angel in blood, and I thought, oh shoot, you know, I missed a kill. So I sat down, I finished the movie, and I walked out still thinking the same thing. Oh man, that was really fun, you know, the good kills, it was funny, it was entertaining, but where was the scene? There was no key scene. You know, it's the third, it's in the theater, you would really think they would have ramped it up, you know? So I get into my car and I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna find out, because obviously I missed a kill since there was blood on the floor, find out what I missed. So I'm looking and I find out that I missed the bathroom scene. The scene where the couple go take a shower, where Art comes in and unalives them both very creatively. So that was the scene that I thought the movie left out. I completely missed it. I left right before it started. I came in right as it was ending. I still haven't seen it. I'm waiting for the movie to come out on streaming so I can skip ahead to that part and just watch the part that I missed. So yes, Terrifier 3 does have that scene, and make sure if you have to use the bathroom during it, you go before Art gets to the dorm fraternity. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I will hopefully see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and drink water. Bye bye.